Fortnite's history can be told through its mechanics. From the very first season in 2017, the game separated itself from every other shooter with the ability to build. That one mechanic changed everything. Suddenly, survival wasn't just about aim, it was about creativity. Players could create their own cover, dictate the flow of fights, and climb to heights that no other game had ever offered. But Fortnite has never stayed the same. Building evolved, edits transformed, the pace of fights, playstyles shifted, and in more recent years, movement itself became one of the most debated topics in the community. Today, Fortnite is more mechanically advanced than ever, but nostalgia has sparked a massive discussion. Players want to compare the old days of 1x1s, slower edits, and simple strafes with the lightning-fast pace of modern Fortnite. Even something as small as pickaxe animations has become part of the nostalgia conversation. Looking back at these changes makes it clear. Fortnite has always been evolving, but players still debate whether old or new mechanics created the better experience for beginners or advanced players. When Fortnite Battle Royale launched in September 2017, the concept of building in a shooter was groundbreaking. Most players didn't yet understand how powerful it could be. At first, building was basic: walls placed as shields, ramps used to climb cliffs, and occasional floors dropped for stability. There were no intricate patterns, no towering structures, and certainly no advanced strategies like tunneling. The defining structure of early Fortnite was the 1x1. When under pressure, players would stack walls and ramps into small towers, slowly climbing upward to gain height. It was defensive, reactive, and clunky compared to today's standards. Players often paused mid-fight to figure out which structure to place. Still, this was revolutionary at the time. It allowed players to create their own battlefield instead of relying on fixed cover. The difference between old and new building mechanics is staggering. What was once slow and improvisational is now lightning fast and precise. But before getting there, Fortnite had to go through years of evolution, driven entirely by its community. As Fortnite gained mainstream popularity in 2018, players began discovering just how much could be done with its building system. Strategies emerged that went beyond 1x1s, double ramp walls, high ground retakes, and defensive towers became standard tools. The key moment was when players realized that building wasn't just defense, it was also offense. Structures could be used to pressure opponents, trap them, and control fights entirely. Building shifted from being about survival to being about absolute dominance. Whoever could build faster and smarter usually won. By mid-2018, build fights became their own minigame. Two players would engage in battles that spiraled into the sky. Ramps crisscrossing, walls replacing walls, each other scrambling to claim high ground. It was chaotic, but it was also beautiful. Building had transformed Fortnite into something entirely unique, something no other Battle Royale could ever replicate. While building was revolutionary, editing added depth. In the early seasons, editing was slow and awkward. Inputs lagged and resets weren't reliable. Most players didn't use edits aggressively, they used them as escape tools. A door might allow an exit from a box, or a floor edit might drop a player onto a lower level. But gradually, players discovered the offensive potentials of edits too, creating a quick window to line up a shotgun shot, then resetting before the opponent could react. It became a deadly trick. By 2019, edits had become central to fighting. They were no longer just about movement, they were about creating opportunities for yourself. Compared to today, old edits look painfully slow. What was once considered fast, a single wall edit, has been completely redefined by modern players who string together triple edits, quad edits, cones, and resets in less than a single second. Editing went from being an occasional tool to being one of the most important skills in the entire game as of now. The late 2018 to 2019 era marked Fortnite's mechanical evolution. Competitive players began pushing the game to its limits. Keybind optimization, controller settings, and fastest servers allowed for more advanced techniques. Suddenly, tunneling became a staple. Players built protective tunnels to move across zones, keeping themselves safe while rotating. Box fighting also rose to prominence. Instead of sprawling build battles in the sky, players fought inside tight boxes, using edits to peek and control angles. Piece control became the foundation of competitive skill. By claiming walls, ramps, and cones before an opponent could, players effectively dictated the fight. This evolution marked the moment when Fortnite stopped being about survival and started being about micro mechanics. Every fight became a test of speed, precision, and most importantly, decision making. Old Fortnite playstyles were slow and cautious. Players sat in bases, rotated late, and often avoided fights until the endgame. Aggression was rare because the mechanics didn't yet allow for confident pressure. As mechanics improved, so did playstyles. Aggression became the dominant approach. Players realized they could win more consistently by forcing fights and using building and editing to outplay their opponents. Defensive players adapted too, using pre-edits, counterplays, and trap setups. Today's playstyles are lightning fast. Every top player understands piece control, quick pressure, and advanced retakes. The skill gap between old and new Fortnite is so big, it's uncomparable to any other game, besides Rocket League. And it's all because mechanics pushed playstyles into higher gear. While building and editing get most of the attention, movement mechanics are another area where the game was completely transformed. Old Fortnite movement was simple, and I like it. Sprinting was standard, but it wasn't fast. Players could crouch, walk, jump, and strafe, but mobility felt grounded. Movement was slower, but more deliberate, making positioning a bigger part of your strategy. Today, movement is far more advanced. Tactical sprinting, mantling, sliding, and climbing have completely changed how players navigate the map. Rotations are faster, fights are more dynamic, and verticality is no longer limited to builds alone. These new mechanics make the game feel more fluid, but they've also sparked major controversy. Recently, there's been a massive community discussion about bringing back old movement. Many players argue that the simplicity of old Fortnite made fights feel cleaner. Without sprinting or sliding, players relied more on building for mobility. It slowed the pace down slightly, but it also gave fights a grounded strategic rhythm. Some believe modern movement has made the game harder to read, with fights sometimes feeling chaotic instead of structured. This nostalgia for old movement isn't just about mechanics, it's about the feel of the game as well. The way characters moved in the early days created a certain pacing that many players miss. Actually, most players miss. Movement isn't the only mechanic that players are nostalgic for. Even something as small as pickaxe animations has become a hot topic, one of my favorite things in the game. In old Fortnite, swinging a pickaxe felt different. Slower, more deliberate, and more animated, especially when you're editing. You could see your pickaxe for longer. Each swing carried weight, and the audio had a distinct, satisfying crunch when you hit it. Today's pickaxe animations are smoother and more optimized, but many players argue that they don't have the same charm as old Fortnite. The old swing animations felt unique to Fortnite's early days, and no other game. When players ask for them to return, it's not just about visuals, it's about recreating a feeling, a memory of when the game was fresh and simple. These small details might seem minor compared to massive mechanics like building or editing, but they matter just as much. They represent the identity of old Fortnite and the old community. For many players, those animations and movements are tied to the excitement of discovering the game for the first time and continuing playing it. When comparing old mechanics to new, the difference is very clear. Old mechanics were slower, simpler, and easier for beginners to grasp. New Fortnite mechanics are faster, sharper, and built for mastery. Building evolved from defensive 1x1s to fluid high ground retakes and tunneling. Editing revolved around slow utility tools to high-speed offensive plays. Playstyles evolved from passive survival to relentless aggression no matter what. Movement evolved from grounded simplicity to dynamic versatility, and even pickaxe animations evolved from deliberate weight to smoother optimized swings. The gap between the average player and the best player has never been larger. In old Fortnite, almost anyone could compete with basic skills. In modern Fortnite, mechanics demand a relentless practice. What was once advanced is now considered the bare minimum in new Fortnite. Fortnite has always been about change. The mechanics that define it today are the results of years of player innovation and Epic's constant updates. But nostalgia still lingers. Old Fortnite mechanics hold a special place in the community because they represent discovery, simplicity, and a time where skill gap wasn't as intimidating. The discussion around bringing back old movement or old pickaxe animations shows that mechanics aren't just technical features, they're actually kind of emotional. They carry memories with everyone playing the game. Old Fortnite mechanics remind players of when the game felt new, while modern mechanics showcase just how deep and competitive the game has become. Both eras have their strengths, but together they tell the story of Fortnite's unique identity, a game defined by creativity, shaped by its community, and constantly evolving into something new. From the first slow 1x1s to modern triple edits, from simple strafing to tactical sprinting, from cautious survival to aggressive dominance, Fortnite mechanics have come a long way. Building, editing, playstyles, movement, and even small details like pickaxe animations have all evolved. Comparing old and new shows just how much the game has transformed, but also why nostalgia for early mechanics still resonates so strongly. Personally, there's something about old movement and the classic pickaxe animations that feels unmatched. The slower, grounded pacing of old movement made fights feel more strategic, and the older pickaxe swings had a weight to them that made every action feel way more satisfying, especially when editing and moving. Bringing those back, even alongside today's advanced mechanics, wouldn't just be about nostalgia, it would be about restoring a kind of flow that made the game feel better overall, and that little cartoony feel where nothing was always perfect. But what do you think? Do you prefer the speed and fluidity of new movement, or should Fortnite bring back the older styles? And when it comes to pickaxe animations, do you like the new smooth swings, or do you guys miss the old crunchy ones like so many players do with their editing out pickaxe? Drop your thoughts in the comments, I'll be checking them to see where the community stands. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to leave a like, subscribe for more, and join the free Discord link from the description. It's packed with resources, teammates, and coaches to help you improve faster. And of course, don't forget to use code FLOWIN in the Fortnite item shop to support the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching, I love you all, thank you for taking time out of your day to watch my video, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace, guys.